Okay, so on the blog today is a recipe for how I make my stretch mark lotion, which is what I used the entire time while I was pregnant. And stretch marks totally run in my family, both sides, and I didn't get any. And so my best friend is the one who came up with this recipe, and it's super easy. It's all at home. We make it like, I'd say a jar like this lasts me 3 weeks. This is like a small mason jar. And so I've made it several times throughout the entire pregnancy. I get all the ingredients on Amazon, super inexpensive. I don't think anything is more than like $10 or $15 each, and some of the more expensive ones last a little longer. So this is the shea butter I use, and all this is linked in today's post, but this is the shea butter I use. Main ingredients are shea butter, cocoa butter. All this is like food grade too, so it's super good for you. And then coconut oil. So it's 2/3 a cup, 2/3, 1/3. And then I use these, more expensive too, the argan oil and the vitamin E oil, but they last also longer than these. I've had to rebuy these I think 2 or 3 times while I've been pregnant, and I started using this at like 18 weeks when I started growing. Optional are essential oils, and it's mostly just for scent. This is what the balm looks like when you're done, and it's like kind of hard, but it turns to an oil on your skin. And then these would just for fragrance. I personally don't use them, but if you did, it would be a couple drops. Otherwise, it's gonna smell strong of cocoa butter, which smells like chocolate. So it smells like chocolate, and your whole self will smell like chocolate. But I put this all over my belly. It completely turns to an oil on your skin. That being said, when you rub it all over your tummy, it's going to be very oily, and it's going to ruin whatever clothes you wear over it. So I talked about the clothing and pajamas I wore to bed with it in today's post as well, and it does ruin the pajamas. You can see what I wore, and I just am gonna throw them away after. But it is totally worth it to me because, and I will 100% do it next time I'm pregnant, because it helps with 0 stretch marks. And okay, so Daniel always helps me make this, but it's 2/3 a cup of cocoa, and Daniel said to put the cocoa in first because it takes the longest to melt. So all you do is stick it in a pan on the stove, and then you add the other ingredients. Okay, so this is the shea. And we do equal parts shea butter and cocoa butter, and then half the amount of coconut oil, just because it's already so oily. But if you prefer it to be more of an oily consistency, you can add more coconut oil if you prefer it to be more oily, and you can add more of these 2 butters if you prefer it to be like more solid. But this is the consistency I found that I like. And then you just do it over low heat until they melt, and they'll become a complete. Okay, so this is with the coconut oil in. So all 3 are in, and then we just stir it with a spoon. And once it's complete, these 3 are melted, then you'll add in the oils. So this is what it looks like, those 3 fully melted. And then you add in the 2 vitamin E oil and argan oil. It's just a teaspoon of each. This whole
teaspoon, if it runs over, that's all good.
We have a whole printable recipe of it on the blog today. So we always add extra because why not? You're trying to prevent.
More is more.
Yeah, prevent stretch marks here, okay, people? But yeah, there's a full printable recipe of this on the blog. But this is what it looks like when it's done. You can turn the heat off. And then if you wanted to add essential oils, you would do it now, and just add in however many drops you want, just for fragrance basically, and whatever other benefits that yours may have. But then we just pour it into one of those mason jars, stick it in the fridge for a few hours, and then it will solidify. This is my jar that wasn't even completely gone, and we're just pouring it right in on top of it. But that recipe fills one of these small mason jars, and then we will put the cap on it. Careful, because it's like really hot. And again, in the fridge a couple hours, and it'll solidify.